This video is for Brianna in my Math 130 class, but this also pertains to Math 140 as well. In this problem, we have a line. So here's a line. Y is equal to 3x minus 5. And the question is find the equation of a line. So find the equation of another line, not this one, but another line that's perpendicular. So here's the word perpendicular to this line above and passes through the point 8, negative 3. So in terms of just creating a visual of what's going on in this problem, y equals to 3x minus 5. And again, you don't need to know the visual in order to do this problem, but just in terms of explaining it, it might help. So y equals to 3x minus 5 looks something like this. So this is y is equal to 3x minus 5. That's this line. And they're asking us to find the equation of line that's perpendicular. So perpendicular means that it intersects this line at a 90-degree angle and passes through the point 8, negative 3. So 8 somewhere here, negative 3 is probably somewhere here. So let's say that's 8, negative 3. Sorry, out of ink. So say this is 8, negative 3, and 8, negative 3, and they're looking for the equation of some line that intersects the blue line, meaning it creates a 90-degree angle at the point 8, negative 3. So one of the things we need to know is that perpendicular lines, so I'm going to write this here, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So for an example, if this line, we're going to find the slope of this line, we're going to find the slope of the blue line, and then the slope of the black line is going to have the opposite reciprocal slope as this one. So let's look at the blue line. The blue line here is y is equal to 3x minus 5, which is in the form y is equal to mx plus b. So since it's already in this form, the slope is going to be the coefficient of x, the number that's attached to x. So the number that's attached to x is 3. So for this line here, the slope is 3, this line here. So this blue line, the slope is 3. M is equal to 3. Now the black line is perpendicular to it, and like I wrote here, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So if this is 3, or in other words, you could write it as 3 over 1, the opposite reciprocal slope is that the black line has a slope of, so when I say opposite, since this is positive, this is now going to become negative. And reciprocal meaning that the numerator and the denominator, you flip it upside down. So 3 over 1 now becomes negative 1 over 3. So the opposite meaning becomes the positive becomes a negative, and reciprocal meaning you switch the numerator and the denominator. So this black line here has a slope of negative 1/3. And the question is to find the equation of this black line. So the equation of a line is y is equal to mx plus b. I'm trying to find the equation of this line. I know that the slope is negative 1/3, so I'm going to have y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus b. I don't know what b is, so to find b, I'm going to have to plug in an x and a y to find out what b is. Well, x and y is a point on this line. Do we have a point on this line? We sure do. Here's the black line, and here's the point on that line. 8, negative 3 is given to us. This is my x, and this is my y. So therefore, to find b, plug in 8, negative 3. This is the x and the y value. So I'm going to plug in y is negative 3, x is 8, and then plus b. And now I'm just going to solve for b. So here, as a result, I get negative 3 is equal to negative 8/3 plus b. I'm going to add 8/3 to both sides to isolate my b. So when I add 8/3 to both sides, let's see, what's negative 3 plus 8/3? So that's what b is, right? b is negative 3 plus 8/3. Well, what is negative 3 plus 8/3? We need a common denominator. I'm going to make the denominator here 3. And then I'm going to multiply the top by a 3, so I have a negative 9. So negative 9/3 is the same thing as negative 3. So let's review fractions. and then I'm going to add these two fractions. So negative 9 plus 8 will give me negative 1/3. So b is equal to negative 1/3. Or you could plug it into your calculator and you'll see that b is negative 1/3. So therefore, my final answer here, the equation of the black line, which is perpendicular to the blue line, is y is equal to my slope of negative 1/3 x and then plus b, and b is negative 1/3. It just so coincidentally was the same. So that's part A of this problem. Part B of this problem is the same question as above. Find the equation of a line that is, except it's parallel. That is parallel to the blue line and passes through the point 8, negative 3. Okay, so here, if I was to draw a visual of this line, this problem, here's my original line that was given to us, y is equal to 3x minus 5. And they're saying that the line that we're interested in passes through the point 8, negative 3, and it's parallel to the blue line. And if you think of parallel parking, meaning that the tires never touch the curb. So parallel lines never touch each other, right? So this is a parallel line. And we want to find the equation of this line. So one of the things that we need to know is that parallel lines, notice they have the same steepness. So the steepness of this is the same steepness as that. Parallel lines have same slopes. So that's an important rule to know, just as perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So here, it's going to be a little bit easier because we know the slope of this line. We already said that the slope of this line is 3. So what's the slope of this line? The slope of this line is also going to be 3 because parallel lines have the same slopes. We need to find the equation of this line now. And again, it's y is equal to mx plus b is the equation of a line. We know that m is 3, so y is equal to 3x plus b. And then we need to find out what b is. So find out b. And how do we find out b? By plugging in what we know is a point on the line. And the point on the line is 8, negative 3. So again, this is my x value and this is my y value. I plug it into there. It's the same steps as above. Negative 3 is for y, is equal to 3 times x. X is 8 plus b. And now I solve for b. So now, as a result, I have negative 3 equals to 24 plus b. I want b to be sitting by itself, so I subtract 24 on both sides. So as a result, I end up getting that b is equal to negative 27. So now, to answer my question, which is to find the equation of the line that is parallel to the blue line, which is this black line here. The equation of this black line is y is equal to mx, which is 3x, plus b, and b is negative 27. So this is the equation of a parallel line. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions.